My name is Jeff Morgan. I'm here with Dad Talk Today, and today we have the privilege of being with Jarome Bell.
Very nice to meet you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So Jarome, where are you from and what are you running for?
Well, I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I'm running for Congress of the United States of America in District 2 of Virginia.
So what brings you to Dallas, Texas? I mean, Virginia, now you're in Dallas. Tell us why.
Hey, we're down here for CPAC, because the theme is America Uncanceled, and I'm down here to support that because no American should be canceled. I've been canceled twice. I got suspended off Twitter 2 weeks before my election last year, and I just came off of a 90-day ban on Facebook.
Wow, I had no idea. So let me ask you one question we have to ask you then is what about critical race theory? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, critical race theory to me is nonsense because I like to use my boys for example.
Right.
Because what they teach critical race theory is that you're a white guy or somebody's a white guy or, and they're racist, inherently racist. Kids are not inherently racist.
Right.
Kids, black kids, white kids, Latinos, they're all going to a room and play together.
Right.
And even in high school, kids don't care about race and things like that. So the critical race theory, and what it teaches black kids is that we're inferior.
Right.
And so I'm definitely do not believe in that because of my 3 boys.
Yeah, and I remember too, my son, when we had, we were talking to him about one of our neighbors one time and said, you notice that his skin's a different color. And he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Right.
I don't think children see color until we teach them that.
That's, normally, racism and like I said, color teaching comes from parents. It comes from, is there racism in America? Of course there is. There's racism all around the world.
Right.
I've been to Africa. I was, there was racism against me in Africa because I was a black American.
Yeah.
So there's racism all around, but kids don't know that until an adult teaches them.
Yeah. So one of the things we talk about a lot at Dad Talk Today, obviously Dad Talk Today, we talk about the importance of families, the importance of fathers. Now you're a father, is that correct?
Absolutely. I have 3 boys.
Tell us about your children.
Well, about my children, my oldest, he's, I almost tear up when I talk about him, but he won valedictorian of his high school in Virginia Beach, Bayside High School in Virginia Beach.
Wonderful.
He's valedictorian of a racist school, right?
There we go.
But I had a black valedictorian, and now he's a doctor in the Air Force. He's a captain in the Air Force, and he's a medical doctor.
Amazing.
Yeah, so he's doing some great things. My middle son graduated from another racist school in Virginia Beach. He's now an HVAC technician in the city of Virginia Beach. And my youngest son, he graduated 5th of his class. He tried to match his brother, but he graduated 5th of his class.
They must have had smarter people in that class.
Yeah, something like that, And so, and right now he's graduated college in May.
Yeah.
He's a musical theater performer.
Yeah.
He's performing in Idaho at the Starlight Mountain Theater, doing plays and things of that nature. So all of my 3 boys are successful, and and I shudder to think that if the critical race theory had been pushed in Virginia Beach public schools like it's being pushed now, where will my sons be? Because my sons, because in Virginia Beach now they did away with the valedictorian and the salutatorian. They don't have that anymore.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so my son wouldn't have been able to compete to get his scholarships to go to school and his scholarships to go, on to be a doctor. And so, I'm proud of my boys, and I coach high school football. I'm proud of the boys, that I coach. And a lot of times it's just takes being a father, and what we're missing in a lot of our homes are absent fathers.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that because you talked about, the critical race theory and stuff like that, but the greatest blessing that you've given to your children is an intact family. So speak a little bit about that because today in America, too often we have the idea that you can marry, divorce, get a stepdaddy becomes real daddy gets kicked out of life, or the mother, but that creates turmoil for children.
Absolutely.
And you have an intact family, and that's one of the greatest blessings you can leave to your children. So tell us about that.
Well, in the black community, unfortunately, there's 75% unwed mothers raising children.
And what was the cause of that?
Well, the cause of that, I believe, was back in the 70s when we started doing the welfare. It was the welfare system.
It was
the system. It was the welfare state, and it was the New Deal, that put fathers out of the homes because they were giving mothers this free money, but you couldn't have a man in the house. So that was the start of it.
Divorce your husband, get rid of the father, we'll give you money.
Right, marry to stay. Or if your husband happened to do something and became a felon and went to jail, and when he came back, he could not be in the house.
Yeah.
That was a rule. And so, that sort of just put the black father out of the family, and I think that's why we have a lot of the issues that we have now. Because and you go even a step further, it's biological. It's not just physical. It's a biological thing that goes on when fathers are in a home with their girls, with their sons. Because it's like how estrogen or something gives off, testosterone, but the fathers have to do that.
So we'll say you get in Congress, because the last time you came in, you got like 23% of the vote.
I got 23% of vote on the first time run. I started with zero money. I didn't have no big money donors. I don't have PACs. I started with a staff of 3.
Right.
And then COVID hit right after 3 months after we announced. And so it sort of changed my race. But I ended up with 23% of the vote. We ended up raising a lot of money, $260,000 in about 3 months. And my message resonated with people because I didn't have any name recognition. Nobody knew who I was. But now, coming to 2022, we have this big army. I got donors all over the nation, so it's going to be a totally different story.
So suppose you get it into Congress then and everything. What can you do to help families or to help strengthen families? And in particular, to stop the divorce culture, to stop the culture that says fathers are not necessary or mothers are not necessary, because we do need to have intact families to raise the next generation. And one of the things that Lenin used to say is destroy the family, destroy society. And one of the tenets of Marxism was abolish the family. So what could you do as a representative to help reverse the tide, stand against it, and then also go on offense at the same time?
We just have to let people know that, look, we have to have families. If you look back into the 60s, where supposedly, black America was, going through the civil rights movement, we had intact families. We had intact families all the way through the 70s, and we were doing well. What we need to do is end the programming, because we're being programmed by the Democratic Party, and we need to stop the programming and let people know, hey, it's good to have families. And when I go to Congress, I'm going to present that. I run on families, I run on strong families. We have to start trade schools again to keep those families together, keep those kids that's in those families having something to do, because all kids are not ready and can't go to college, but they can do trades. And if you have a kid that learned 3 trades, he can never be subject to what's going through now, being job layoffs and things of that nature. And that creates a family structure, because it brings on the work ethic, and when the son sees the father working and see the mother doing what they do, and it's a nurturing type thing. So that's what I'm going to bring to Congress. I'm going to have a big support for families. I may even start some kind of charity for families, people that stay together, scholarships, something like that. So but it's it's going to be a big job because of decades of turmoil and decades of destruction within our family.
We're with you 100%. So if people wanted to get behind you, follow you, learn more about you, how do they do so? Where do they go? What's your website?
Okay, well, my campaign website is Jarome Bell, and you spell that JAROMEBELLFOR Congress. That's JaromeBellForCongress.com. You go there, you can donate, you can volunteer if you live in the 2nd District. And I'm also on Twitter, as long as they don't suspend me again. I'm at Jarome Bell VA.
I would never have thought you'd have been a part of the, but canceled, but go ahead.
I was really part of the first cancel, because they canceled me back in June of 2020. I was part of the first cancellation.
It almost sounds like it's a racist cancellation, to be quite honest, if you want to use their terms against them.
Right. And I do, and because the Democratic Party is a party of racism. If you take it all the way back, the KKK, slavery, you got black codes, just everything. You even got like we mentioned earlier, the welfare system. Was that. So, and also I'm on Gab. I'm on Gab at Jarome Bell VA as well, and on Facebook, Jarome Bell for Virginia.
Okay, thank you very much, Jarome. We wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate
God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Texas at the same time.
I love Texas. Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Thank you. And we will be right back. Thank you.